Big topics, big stories, and big news. The Big Rich Show. It happens here. If the essence of Prince lives on, I think that we found it with Ian Guerin. Ian is an independent recording artist, writer, and producer. His style and heartfelt songs will have you clamoring for more. This soon-to-be household name will go down along the names of some of the greats like Keith Sweat, Marvin Gaye, and Mariah Carey. And welcome to the Big Rich Show, guys. Tonight, I have riding shotgun with us an R&B and pop recording artist, songwriter, and I'm gonna tell you what, all-around superstar in my eyes, and it's Ian Guerin. Ian has been making music since the age of 9, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And you can see he's not 9 anymore. So Ian, thank you for coming on the Big Rich Show, brother.
Thank you so much for having me, Rich. I'm excited to be here and to talk to you about many, many things in music and all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love music, man. Let's jump right in here. So we're not gonna have the tip. You know how I do it, fans. It's not gonna be the typical interview. We're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna get to know Ian not only as the musician that he is, but we're gonna get to know him as a person tonight. So you first stepped onto the scene professionally, 2010, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and that was with the release of your debut single, which was titled, and I hope I'm getting this right, Bubblegum.
Of course, yeah, that was the first one.
Okay, now when you think about that right now, what are your thoughts when you think about when I just mentioned Bubblegum? Does it bring you back or?
Now that you said that, does it bring you back? Yeah, it does bring me back to a moment where I was at a friend's house and I just first played the song for her and for my cousin. And I don't remember what they told me, but I remember hearing it again with them in the room and thinking, wow, I was so proud. And this is like a simple thing to remember, like to think, but I remember thinking, wow, I always wanted to have a song with snaps and claps and, those kinds of drums. And I finally got it. That's
Yeah.
my what I remember thinking about it. I loved it. I loved the sound. And I love the fact that, we created, I remember, I can tell you like a little bit how we created that song. I remember
Sure.
coming to the studio with my producer, and we had done a song before that. We'd done 2 songs before that one, and this was a 3rd song. Now we have a 9-year like an 11-year relationship now. I met him when I was like 15 maybe, and and I remember coming in and we watched The Simpsons. We ate some food, and like at 12 or 1 in the morning, we said, okay, let's do a song, and we did it. And we had nothing. We had no plans for it. I didn't have any idea of what I wanted. We just started coming up with sounds, and it turned out really well. I don't like the lyrics, but I think it's a wonderful song because it has a great vibe and people love it when I play it live. And so I think it was a good debut single. Many artists I've heard, like, they don't like their initial music. I do like mine.
It was amazing. I mean, yeah, brother, everything that I can tell you right now, and I'm not just saying this, folks. Every song that I've listened to, audio or video on YouTube of Ian's, it is just hitting. It touches your heart, your soul, or it'll make you reflect in your mind back to a time. And he's someone that you can connect to because with the things that he talks about touches the spectrum of everyone. There's not a soul in this world that I believe would not pull something away from one of Ian's songs. And I say that with all respect, my friend.
Thank you. Those are wonderful words. And that was what I was aiming to do. Like ever since I started writing songs, like I was like 13, I always remember not listening to artists of my own time. I remember listening to Ray Charles and James Brown and Michael Jackson, of course, and Prince and Mariah Carey and thinking to myself, you know, these are the sounds that I like. And I
Mm-hmm.
used to hear the music in the radio that they were playing when I started writing music, and I didn't identify with that. I didn't want to do those kinds of textures or those kinds of melodies. And I've never been one for, you know, trendy music, if you want to call it that, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm always, you know, thinking that the one thing that you gotta do in life is transcend, and the way that you do it, in my case, is through music. And I want to make timeless music, so I don't want to make songs that die or that live within a trend.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make music that we can hear 25 years from now
Mm-hmm.
and think, wow, that still sounds good. Like you play Billie Jean or you play Purple Rain, and they sound beautiful today, tomorrow, and forever. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
kind of music that I want to do. And I wanted to bring, especially in this album,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do songs that, you know, that told real stories. And I was like, everyone has been there with situations. So I wanted to tell real stories, and I wanted people to be able to make them their own too. I wanted to not, you know, they tell the stories in detail, but I wanted to leave those parts where people could insert themselves. And I also wanted, one thing that to me is very important when creating an album is, I want every song to be a potential single. I want every song to give somebody something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because if not, what's the point? Like, yeah, I'm gonna have a couple of singles and then I'm gonna do album fillers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, the quality of the work, you know, I think that what makes Michael Jackson timeless, you know, is exactly that. That he always
Yes.
wanted. I remember him saying with Off the Wall, right? And he was like, I
Mm.
want every song. I'm reading the Randy Taraborelli book right now, and he was like, I want every song to be a potential single. And I wasn't reading the book back when I created the album, but I remember him saying that. And I said, like, I want that. I want that. I want to be able to open my album and say, I can choose any song, and people will still say, ah, that's a good song, you know?
You do it, brother. You definitely do it. And
Thank you.
folks, we're talking about Bubblegum, which was the first single that he put off from his debut album, Mad Sexy. Yes.
Yes.
And that was released 2 years later, 2012. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what was ironic is he kind of, you know, he'll talk about this in his bio, that this album was almost in honor of the King of Pop, because he had just passed.
Yes.
Um, and so, and you can feel it. The very first time I listened to Roll the Dice, it's the first thing I clicked to play. I don't know why. I just like the name of the song, the sound, the way it rolled up, Roll the Dice. I pushed play, and I was instantly, the first thing I could think was, oh my God, that is like, it took me back to the Prince Purple Rain days, or Sexy Mother Bleep, you know, shaking that, you know, I just, you could feel it and you wanted to jam with it. And that's what I found out. Every one of your songs has a hook that within the first 30 seconds, everyone's going to have that hook down, and it just has you vibing with it. Now, the hook,
Thank you.
especially, what was the song that I was listening to right before we got together tonight? It wasn't Cry, Free Time. Ooh,
With the video walking.
yes, Free Time. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, the hook on that, it's in my head. You know, I don't know. He doesn't know what you do in your free time, but all I do is think about you. It's just,
Yeah.
and
And it's such a true story.
yes, everyone has felt that way. Like every moment you're not with that special someone, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm thinking about you.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Um,
Totally.
so anyways, with that first album, I really never figured out the gap. But from 2012 to 2014, you made a little bit of a jump in 2014 to kind of cross over. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to talk maybe just a little bit about the crossover?
Yes, what happened was that I loved Bubblegum. I think that was my favorite song from the Mad Sexy album. I Heart is also one of the fan favorites. It's
Mm.
not one of my favorites necessarily. Right now we are re-releasing the video for I Heart with higher quality. That's why we had it taken down from the Vivo channel, but it would be
Mhm.
up soon. And we had I Heart as a single back in 2011, and I enjoyed it. I think it's an excellent song, and I think it's a fun song, and people love it. You know, like say I love my lover for the rest of my life. You know, say I heart. Like
Mhm.
everyone wants to say that, but the thing that happened is that I was slowly but surely becoming like this pop product that didn't really go well with me because the kind of pop that I wanted to do was like more, I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but it's more traditional
Mhm.
than,
Mhm.
you know, than what I was coming up with, and it didn't make me sort of feel in my zone. Like I'm one for the outside of the comfort zone, but it wasn't making me feel myself. Like, and we recorded the Mad Sexy video in December of 2011, and I remember, you know, wearing the sneakers, the red sneakers, and you know, they didn't let me wear any shades. I had this like square shades that I wanted to wear, and they didn't let me. And so I was like slowly but surely turning into this character that I didn't necessarily feel like being. And I remember, you know, coming to rehearsal and thinking, well, I sort of enjoy the songs, but not that much. Like I enjoy them now, looking back. Sometimes I play them, and you know, I have a good time, and you know, I have to play them when the fans want to hear them. But I remember telling myself, I sort of, you know, they're okay, but I'd like to sing like My Girl and PYT and you know, so
Mhm.
sort of, you know, I wanted to include in my set like I Wish by Stevie Wonder. You know, I wanted to do a different type of sound. And so I had an advisor back then, which I had met through a friend of my father's, and he told me, well, if you want to do what a crossover to another genre, this is the time to do it. You're not known, you're not famous, you don't have people married to your sound, which I don't think that that's necessarily true, because people, you know, adapt to anything and they like you to experiment with new things.
Mhm.
You know, I always say that the fans, I like to call them the family, because they're the ones that support me every day. But you know, uh, they they like that evolution. You know, they're the greatest guide in the world. So I
Mhm.
remember coming to the studio and thinking, well, I should do a crossover maybe, and so I did a song, Pop This Jam, and it didn't come out in streaming services because it actually was planned as a gift for a girl that I was dating, because I didn't have any money to buy her a gift. So I recorded that song, and then my advisor heard it, and he was like, "This is good." And I don't remember how he got it to the Beat 100 in that magazine and digital
Mhm.
magazine in the UK,
Mhm.
and it all of a sudden was the number one song, and
Mhm.
I was like, wow, this is cool, and I love that song, you know. You
Right.
know, she used to tell me like, weirdest people are the best, so I love that part of the song. If people get a chance to hear it,
Mhm.
it's on YouTube, like Ian Guerin, Pop This Jam, you know. And
Right.
weirdest people are the best, you once told me. You know, I
That's right.
love those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like kind of R&B hip hop, and but it was still like too not, you know, not contemporary for me. Like I wanted to do like classic sounds, and I wanted to have those violins. I wanted to have like a Motown vibe to my
Mhm.
music. And but that was a great start. And
Mhm.
so after that we recorded Cry, and so that's how it started, like kind of happening. And when we released the Cry video,
Mhm.
and it did well because it won awards
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff. And so like the first time I heard Cry, I remember thinking, wow, I this is the first time in my life that I have a song that sounds exactly like I wanted it.
Exactly. And that one actually did very well everywhere. Now I want to back up just one smidge here. Um, so this is where we're at, folks. He took and rolled the dice in
Yes.
2014, crossed over to go from a top 40-ish to R&B Motown sound is what he was really wanting inside. Um, and it paid off because I know you had mentioned the Beat 100 Awards, and
Yeah.
it hit number one. But didn't it also win 9 separate awards from the Beat 100 Awards?
As combined, all the songs have won 9 awards.
Okay,
There's
okay.
been 3 songs that have won, and 3 songs that have been number one.
Mm-hmm.
And I submitted myself to an award show that I
Mm-hmm.
I can always give it away, right? Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I already submitted myself. Like, the Independent Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
They're happening on June of 2020, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a celebrity panel who decides who the nominees and the winners are gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also like fan voting. So if you go to IMA's and type my name, the audience can vote and support me. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
3 categories with R&B soul for free time, and holiday song for the holidays, my Christmas record. And
Mm-hmm.
then in the love category, I submitted 2, the place and the replaceable. And so if fans want to go and support me with that, that'd be amazing. The
Okay, yeah.
ceremony is in 2020 in New York, so I'm looking forward to that, definitely.
We'll put the info up here too, and I'll let that
Thank you.
flash for a little while. And folks, get out and vote. After this interview, go out and listen and taste the music that he has to offer. You be the judge. You're going to be captivated right off the bat. And get out there and let's help promote Ian. Let's get him up there because I want to see this man just sitting on a shining star going through, and he's going to wave. It's like, I did it, because his heart is there. And I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. I'm excited. I'm a fan for life now. I just got to let you know. And,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
you have so much. I mean, if his music doesn't speak for itself, the 9 separate awards, I think you've been promoted and interviewed in over 30 different publications as well. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's saying something, guys. It doesn't happen every day. And this guy is still independent. That's a good thing, though, because he has just honed his skills to the point of whenever he does decide to land, it's going to be an explosion, and he's going to set the world on fire. Your mix, I mean, just that, like you said earlier, that breezy,
Yeah.
just easy breezy, man, with like that old school, nostalgic, contemporary, that R&B, that Motown, that Marvin Gaye kind of switched in with a little Prince and maybe even a touch of the Temptation. I mean, you just feel his music, and that's something that you don't get nowadays. Some of these love jams and other things, and even from guys like, I'm going to say it, John Legend and others, you just don't get that feel. Now, John Legend, I mentioned him. Yes, I feel him, but ooh, you're silky, breezy, easy. Ooh, it's just like you want to grab your girl or grab your guy or grab your whoever you're in love with and just not let go. And that's where we're at with it, man. So you had mentioned Cry. Let's talk about that one just a little bit more, because that at one point actually peaked number 31 on the R&B soul new releases charts on iTunes right here in the
Yes.
USA.
Yes. Yes. I didn't remember that. Yeah, but it's cool that you mentioned it. Yeah, totally. I remember I just typed in my name in Google and the song to see what came up, and then all of a sudden like a review from iTunes came, like charts, and it said like R&B charts new releases, and I was like, what? So I typed in, I clicked, and it took me to the chart, like, and I was like, what? What am I doing there?
Mm-hmm.
You know? But
Yeah.
it was exciting that people embraced it. And I remember a lot of people telling me that the lyrics just hit them. And I remember writing Cry and thinking, wow, like we had the beat, and I didn't really have like actually the original demo version of the song was gonna say like I've cried and I've cried, and my producer was joking around when I came back into the studio, and I had taken that part out. He was like, "What? You took the only part of the song that worked." and,
That's crazy.
and I was like, "Shut up! Everything works. It makes more sense that way." And I remember like I wanted to have like this. These are stories that I'm remembering now. Like that last part when my home isn't home since you walked in the door. My heart. When I wrote that, I actually was thinking of making it the whole hook of the song, but it gave it a popular feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want that. I wanted like that classic like Tony Braxton kind of Joe Thomas kind of vibe to my song. Like I really wanted it to hurt like but in a casual way, saying things that were real to me. Like my favorite line out of Cry probably is, "So I'm gonna take this dream of me and you, babe, and I'm gonna throw it out because I'm just sick." Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's one of my lines, and forget the stereotypes. When they say that they say big boys don't cry, and they say big girls survive. I just wanted to tell everyone like, when you're brokenhearted, and I've been this year, and I didn't remember. It felt like SHIT.
Mm-hmm.
When you're brokenhearted, you just want to hear the real deal. Like to me, when I hear a song that's filled with cliches and metaphors, it doesn't take me there as one that's telling a personal story. That's why I like country music too, because they tell such personal stories.
Yeah.
And I don't really care if I've been through that, but the essence of how they feel I've been through, or I haven't, or I can't relate. But the fact that I'm hearing the stories, what I love about my dad was playing music yesterday, and he was like, the thing is that I never get a reaction from you. You never say why you like it. You only say that it's okay. And I'm like, Dad, the thing is that you play music that's very different to what I'm driven to. And one of the things that I thought that I didn't tell him was that I'm driven to those lyrics when I'm like, wow, he really did say that, or a certain girl, a certain female, whatever, whoever's singing, it doesn't matter. But I'm driven to words like, whoa, did he really just say that? Did she really just say that? Wow, I can't believe that they did. Like Dolly Parton's song, I don't know if you've heard it, like Better Get to Living. Wow, that's like
Mm-hmm.
a poem of a song.
Sure.
She's wow. Every time I hear that song, I hear it and I'm like, wow, it's perfect. It's like it's one of it's in my list, in my top 5 list of perfect lyrics in the world, and I don't have one of my songs on that list, you know.
Right, right. But that's what's great, and I'm glad that you brought that up. That you say that you are a fan of even country, and a true musician um, will listen to all genres as long as it's something that he can relate to and feel, because
Yes,
you appreciate that, and
yes,
that's what's so special about music. And instantly, when you said country, it took me back to a song I used to relate to by Garth Brooks many a moon ago. That was I've got friends in low places, because it's kind of like everyone has been at that point, where you've got friends in low places, or the woman that you loved, is about to marry somebody else. You're the last one. I was the last one you thought you would see there. There's you feel those, and I feel that with you, and I'm glad you shared that with everyone. Um, Now with Cry, you also won a couple of different Beat 100 UK awards as well.
yes,
Um, and that's going to kind of bring us. I want to fast forward a little bit, and because I know I don't want to stay in one area too long tonight. Um,
yeah.
but A Different Affair. The
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Affair. This was released May 25th, which I remember because that's my son and my brother's birthday. I'm May 26th. But May 25th, 2018, Ian had released a song from the upcoming album, uh, A Different
Sorry.
Affair. Um,
Yes,
and when I read your bio, there were some things in there that you said that you guys had sent it out to radio stations
yes,
everywhere, not just here in various countries. Uh, and then it just quickly blew up. And
yeah.
to this day, right now, it's probably the most critically acclaimed song that you've done. Would you say?
I don't know if the most critically acclaimed, but it's definitely the one that gets more attention because it has just such a good vibe. Like people
Yes.
just can feel that good vibe. Like it's just one of those songs that you play and like I used to not listen a lot to my music, and that's one of those songs that I can never get tired of.
Hmm.
So I don't. It got really good reviews. I remember. Um, I can't remember his name. Roger Jansen
Hmm.
from Jansen's Jams. He said that it had that old school vibe with with the zesty sounds, and that it was so perfectly put together. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I remember that he gave me such a great review about it, and people just started writing me like, "Wow, this is so laid back." And I was like, even though it's such a sad story, because I
Right.
wrote it in a time of my life when I remember, like, I was in LA in 2015, and
Hmm.
we or 16. I can't remember. I was shooting the free time video,
Hmm.
and I was so heartbroken. I remember, I was so heartbroken, so distressed, and it just basically told the story of how I missed a girl, and I couldn't do anything about it because she wouldn't talk to me. And
Hmm.
so I had a lover, and then I dumped her because this girl came back. And so I don't know, but I just wanted to make a song that felt like I was putting all that together and telling that story, but at the same time there was a sense of relief because I was through it and that had ended. So I wanted to create that illusion where if you're going through a hard time, you just listen to a different affair and get empowered by it. Like
Hmm.
it's not a song that's gonna make you reminisce. It's a song that's gonna make you state the facts and say, hey, I got the power to get you back, but we're gonna do it my way and we're gonna play our game. So that's definitely one of my favorites. Yes,
Hmm.
I think I don't know if it's the most critically acclaimed, but I definitely like in my top two of favorite songs that I've
Okay.
written.
I I read I think 6 or 7 different reviews on it, and there. Uh-oh. Did
Oh,
I, did I lose you there? There we go.
oh
Video.
my bad. Okay.
You're good. You're good. It's fine. It happens all the time. Well, don't worry, folks. He's still with us. He didn't go yet. I didn't scare
Sorry.
him off yet. No, you're fine. Um, but where I was at is that of the critiques and the reviews that I read, they were all great. I mean, it was almost as, like I said in the beginning, it's as if you were reading reviews of someone who was already superstar status working on their fifth, maybe sixth album. You know, it was just the things that people say about you. That's why when I heard the music and I saw you and I felt your vibe and your presence and you put it all together, it's only a matter of time before you explode, brother, and it's gonna happen. I promise you, Ian. I'm no mind
Thank
reader,
you.
but I know talent and I know quality and I know you come from the heart after speaking
Yes.
with you tonight. So let's kind
Thank
of
you.
get on up now. The same year, September of 2018,
Yes.
you came with the first song that I ever listened to, and it's one of my favorites so far, along with Free Time, was Roll the Dice.
Yes.
And this single was released along with the video on Vimeo, right? Or
Yes.
Vivo. And
Yeah.
that one as well, and to this moment, still gets crazy reviews, man. Uh, critics, fans alike, they just love that song. And like I said, I felt as if the essence of Prince was just coming out in that song. I don't know why, but that was my first thing that came out when I heard it. I was like, whoa. And I love
There is. Sorry?
no, but and I love Prince. So I was like,
Yeah.
so do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, because there is actually a story. There is a story with Prince with this song, and that story is that I was writing it. We had just done the first demo of it, and so I didn't have an idea of what I wanted the lyrics or the melodies to be like. But
Mm-hmm.
we had a demo of the music of the instrumental, and my producer sent me the bounce, and I started recording here in my home studio, and I remember having that line, which has driven a lot of controversy because I actually admitted in the words that, you know, I had to break up with a girl that I was dating because I met her sister and she was so beautiful. Till this day, I'm like infatuated by her. And so I thought to myself, I can't date you if I'm going to be craving your sister all the time. It's not fair to you and it's not fair to me. So I never told her that, of course. I just decided to like slowly um, walk away from that relationship, and we ended up being good friends. But you know, I remember writing that line and then, you know, saying okay. And my sister, I played it for my sister, and my sister was like, you know, you should be maybe, you know, a little more soft on that line. You know, you should go a little for something more appealing than her sister was 10 times better than she, right? If it's something a little bit, you know, smoother, so something that isn't too harsh, because people might take it the wrong way. And I was like, well, they, you know, I did receive some tweets about people saying that why was I demanding in a different affair to for her to love me my way, you know? So, you know, that could happen. And so I said, okay, yeah, okay, I'll leave it for the demo, and then I'll come back and rewrite the line and have something, you know, just a little nicer there. But what happened with Prince is that, you know, I went to bed and Prince had just released his final album, the Hit and Run Phase 2. And I love saying that the Hit and Run Phase 2 in interviews because I love people to go hear it because it's such a great album. Wow, he had outdid himself. Uh, and and I went to bed and I woke up and I had all these text messages from people telling me that Prince had passed. And that was that day, and I was like, "What? Prince is like healthy. He doesn't even drink. He doesn't eat meat. You know, you know, he's a Jehovah's Witness. He's like one of the best behaved men in the industry. What happened?" And then, well, we discovered that he had, you know, the hip problem with the opioids and all that. But I cried my balls out that day, and I went to a friend's house. He actually made me a drink. You know, he told me no, that this was before. This was after. Sorry. And so I decided not to record that day. And the next day, I came back to continue writing the song, and I was about to change that line when I remembered, hey, you know, Prince would have just left the line and wouldn't cared who thought what. You know, it's what happened. Like, because the story, the way it goes, is that I'm telling an ex that I'm now like seeing again what happened while she was gone. And so I'm telling her the story about this girl and how I felt about her, you know, and how I knew things about what she had gone through with another man. So that's like most like the story, the plot line for the song. But I said, nah, F it. I'm just gonna leave it. And I did, and I'm very proud of it. It's like every time I hear it, I feel like this boldness, like, yeah, thank God I did, because it's the truth, you know. And I also believe in what Madonna says, you know, if you're gonna be controversial, then you're gonna have more people watching than if you just abiding by the rules all the time and, you know, just playing the game like, oh no, I'm gonna be all polite, and you know, you got to break the bounds. So Roll the Dice turned out that way, and some people tell me that it sounds like I sound in that song as if Michael Jackson and Prince had a love child. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I 100. And what was funny about that is I immediately reached out to Mike Simons after I heard that song. I just stopped what I was doing. I was like, have you listened to this song before? This guy is the real deal. And my critique on that was, it's as if Prince's essence went inside you and Michael Jackson's vision came out, and we, like you just said, that mixed. And he was like, yeah, he goes, I told you this guy is the real deal. And I was like, oh, he ever. And yeah, it's amazing, man. And I love that song, folks, and you've got to check that. You're gonna have to check out all his music. And you can see, and what I'm loving tonight is we're learning about him as a person. And I'm glad that, and as a lover of music and love songs especially, heartbreak or love and all of that. I'm glad you left that in because you're right. It's from the heart that you are telling the truth. So don't
Yeah.
sugarcoat it. Don't give us that pop Justin Bieber version. Give us
Yeah.
that, that Ian Guerin version where you're like, this is me and this is what happened. I'm telling the story. Because Prince did it. Don't you think people were in shock when he's talking about a woman masturbating in a hotel lobby with a magazine? Yeah, come on, you know what I mean? And that's just one of many, many lyrics that he dropped
Yeah.
on our heads back in the day that had people like, hold on, let me rewind that. What did he just say?
Yeah.
And that's throughout the history of all of his songs. And that's what I loved about Prince because he wrote from the heart and the soul. And that essence carried over to,
Yeah.
to every guitar strum, every drum beat, every breath that he put on that mic. It comes across and you feel it, and that's what you have with him, man. So I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I don't want people to think that I'm in love with you or anything, but I mean, we're here to promote you tonight and get to know you as well.
Oh,
And
those words, they're giving me life. They're giving me life, really. And if you don't mind, I'd like to, when you said it's only a matter of time before you explode. When you said it, I was like, before you said the word explode, I was like, please say something magical so I can use that as a quote.
right.
And you did, so thank you.
Oh, all right. I mean, yeah. Well, and I wasn't. I was just like you say. I was speaking from the heart when I'm telling this, and I always want. That's one thing is, everyone has a story to tell, and I seek the truth in life on my conspiracy side of shows, and I seek that same thing in entertainment. I want to feel the truth. I want to feel every day. I want to feel what I live. I don't want to feel what you have or what I could achieve. I want to feel what I'm going through or what I've been through. And that's what you offer.
Thank you.
We're getting about that point, folks. And I know I kind of lightly dropped it on Ian, but everyone that comes on the show is run through the what?
The Gauntlet of Fire.
And Ian will be no exception tonight. But before we do the Gauntlet of Five real quick, I just want to mention this, is that if he wasn't doing music, one of the things that he lists that he would love to do was be or have been an FBI investigator.
Oh,
So
yes.
with that said, we're going to roll into the Gauntlet of Five, and then I can let you speak on it, and then we can talk maybe a little bit more about, exploring that side of you, your enjoyment, what you like outside of music. So,
Perfect.
with that said, let's start the Gauntlet of Five. Yes or no's, and you can elaborate after.
Perfect.
Does Bigfoot exist?
Yes.
Okay. Have we been to the moon?
Yes.
Okay. Do aliens exist?
Yes.
Okay. Hybrid creations, things of lore, ancient histories, have those existed or do they still exist?
Yes.
Okay.
And yes.
Okay. Now, the last one, this one's more of to make everybody smile. Is the earth round? Is it flat? Or as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, pear-shaped?
Round, definitely.
Okay. Okay. There we go. And there is Ian rocking the Gauntlet of Five with a straight yeses down the middle, and we're living on a circular globe Earth. Would you like to elaborate on any of those before we move forward?
Yes, definitely. On the hybrids and Bigfoot, I think, and on well, I think aliens, I wouldn't elaborate as much because I can't believe that there's still people out there who think that we're the only creatures in the planet. Not in the planet, but in the universe. Like, it's such a huge, space, the universe. Like, there must be like 100 million Earths like this one, just another galaxy. So it's impossible to believe that it's only us. It's so. I think it has to do with, a sense of empowerment, a false empowerment, where people want to feel like they're this grandiose figures. And the reality is we're just another mammal in the world because, we just happen to develop other skills. Like, but we are just like any other animal, you know,
Okay.
with different features. So yes, I definitely think that aliens are out there. I definitely think that governments know about this. I definitely think that they're in contact with them. I definitely think that technology is a result of alien exchange of some sort. You know, like nanotechnology, how it changed in 10, you know, in
Oh
5 years, all of a sudden we had all of those stuff. You know, where did it come from, right? We're not that bright, you know.
yeah.
We're not that we're not that special. Like
Right, right. I love it.
I, I'm one, you know, and this, I don't want it to sound the wrong way, but you know, if you ask me what I want to carry in my hands, if I want to carry, if I want to pick up a baby, or I want to pick up a puppy, or you know, a cub, or any other animal that is small, I rather always do the puppy or the cub or the kitten, or you know, whatever is more tender. And I see a baby, and it's like, well, he's a nice human, yeah, okay, yeah,
Right.
that's okay, but you know, I love nature, and I love, you know, watching all this documentaries on it, and all.
Yeah.
And so yeah, aliens definitely. Bigfoot definitely, just because I think that there's many dimensions. And I
Sure.
once saw on Nat Geo that they explained it to me in a way that, well, not to me, but to all the viewers. But they explained it in a way that made sense to me. Like, we're all in the same space, but we're in different dimensions. And so imagine our space being like a building of apartments. And so Bigfoot lives in apartment number 3, and humans live on apartment number 4, and goblins live on apartment number 2, you know. So what happens with that is you eventually run into your neighbors in the elevator. So
Yeah.
when you run into creatures like that, you know, it's because you clash in the same dimension, because they're going through, you know, they're just going by, and they're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
And hybrids, on the other, you know, hybrids. Have you seen the Queen of England? No disrespect to her, but have you seen her? Like, I've seen some videos on YouTube, and you know, much respect to her and to her family. Wonderful. You know, I don't know them, but you know, much respect to them. And I'm not saying this in a disrespectful manner, but have you seen her? Like, I've seen YouTube videos where you know, she does this crazy things, and I particularly was like really intrigued by that. So I
Yeah.
researched her aging process, and you like, it's weird because she looks like a 40-year-old for the time she's 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. She looks exactly the same. But the moment she turns 50, it's like the switch came up, and she just changes. She ages, but she doesn't age like as time goes by, but as decades go by, or you know, as
Right.
milestones go by. So that's a weird thing.
Right.
And I saw this in different periods of time, and so I was like, yeah. And you know, Tutankhamun was a hybrid, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so we can't believe that. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was talking about indigo kids,
Oh
which
yeah, yeah.
and so it's out there, because you know, aliens, you know, are here. They're here, and they take humans to their planets and all, you know. I can't believe that I refuse to believe that this is the only thing that that's here. Like, it would be like so vague and you know, pointless, right? Like, oh yeah, we just have this planet, the only one in the whole universe that has life. Come on. Like, no, it's not that special, really. You know, we came
Right.
out of nothing, like a big bang, you know, a bunch of rocks exploding, and
Right.
that's how life started. So like, I don't see any specialness in that.
I love it, man. You took it exactly where I didn't think we would go, and I love it, man. That's great. That's great for people to see this side of you, and that goes hand in hand with everything that I do. I mean, we're getting to know you. You know, like you said, you would have loved to have been an FBI investigator. Some of the things that you love in life, you mentioned this. You love exploring the human mind,
Yes.
meditating,
Yes.
researching, reading, watching documentaries.
Yeah.
You know, you're an everyday person, and those are things that someone who seeks truths
Yes.
does. you know. So that's why it's you in a nutshell, because you write and produce truth, you seek truth. So
Yeah.
there you have it, folks. And I wanted to mention this, and I found this ironic, but at the same time, I understand, because I've been there, and I'm kind of there at this point in my life where you mentioned that you're a loner. You really don't have a lot of friends outside of maybe family, a close knit group of people. On my hand, I could count 5 people that I consider true friends.
Me too. And the problem, I think, with that, well, not the problem, but the thing with that is because, I told you how I think, and, I always come into, gather rounds, and they're talking like, oh, life is beautiful, the wedding that certain someone is going to have. And I'm not into that. Like, I'm like, marriage, according to, in few words, that docu-series, marriage was an arrangement, for landlords to get bigger land, to get their lands bigger. So you get married, we marry our kids, and now we own a bigger, piece of land. So and they talk about how the love factor wasn't certain in the 1900s, and it came to blow up their business because it was good business till the love factor was inserted in it. So I come into the gather rounds, and I say this, and I talk about how, I saw the Queen of England, and, or I saw a video of time travel, and I was really mesmerized by it. And people just don't like it. And my dad is that way too. And he used to say, the thing is that people don't like to talk the things that I like to say, or that I like to do. And I'm something that I did, I think a little, and I evoluted better than him in that regard, is that I managed to create like a state of mind where I can lower my conversation to anything. We can gossip, so I can conversate, because you got to be part. You can't just be a hermit, right? So you gotta, we're social beings, because with hermetism comes depression. So you gotta adapt. And it doesn't bother me. I understand that not everybody is gonna think the way I think, and it's okay. I agree to disagree with people. I try to set their minds into a certain state. But the truth is that, I don't feel like there's a time that this time in life is a good time to bring kids into the world. The world needs some healing before we can, like my uncle was telling me the other day that he read that we needed to stop having kids until 2040, so that the planet could recover, and then we can start, doing our thing again. So yeah, that comes with the loneliness. And I'm a very introspective person. I was at a party yesterday, and there was a numerologist there.
Oh,
and
wow.
and it was amazing. I had a 5 for family, because she told me that I like to take care of my family. There was an 8. I can't remember what the 8 was for. And there was 6 that meant that I'm an old soul. And then the 11th, the sum of that was 11. And she said, you're all about the social cause, and you're always trying. Oh, there was 8 for communication. She said that sometimes I was very shy, and that I was also sometimes I broke out of my shell, and I was like, okay, people are gonna listen. And she defined me. So I'm in that search for the higher purpose, what, like that Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury song that says there must be more to life than this. I believe that.
Yeah.
So it takes time. It really takes time, like to do that. And then my friend Caro, we're always talking about that, and we're talking about situations that happen in our lives, but how they're the bigger lesson, and we're constantly trying to get there with that. So yeah, I think that when that happens, you develop a personality. When you become lonely, right? And it's not a bad thing. I think I'm a loner, but I don't feel alone, because I get along just fine with myself.
Right. I get it, man. That amazing. What you just said it gives insight and perspective into you as a person, and that's great to know. You know, you're
Thank you.
sociable and you can adapt. Sometimes it takes being a chameleon to make it in life, especially
Yeah.
when you're a person who sees things just a little skewed or different, when your eyes are open to the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because once you know, there's no going back. You can't close your eyes. Once your
Yeah.
eyes are open, it's as I always say this to everyone, and it's cliche, but as a world, we're sheeple, we're sheep, and we like to stay in the herd because it's
Yeah.
comfortable. We feel like, hey, and we won't lift our heads up to look around. But those few in the herd that do look up and break away, now we see, wow, the world has so much to offer. And
Yeah. And
it's a beautiful thing. So,
yeah, and it's fun. It's funny that you mention it that way because it brings back so many examples of that. Like I like to call it the awakened state, and I
mm,
think that the awakened state comes from a moment in your life where you just had to be the strongest, best version of yourself to pull yourself through, or you weren't gonna make it. And
hmm
I remember when that happened to me, I was going through an OCD situation, and I remember it had never exploded the way it did, and I was just, I couldn't deal with my mind anymore, and I was like, okay, you either die or you come out of this a stronger person. And I think that that was my awakening moment, and people need to have it in life, but some people don't. The sheep people that you're mentioning,
hmm
they live in this, it's not a bad thing that you are in a comfort zone, but it prevents you from getting to that moment in your life where you have to
yeah.
struggle so that you get to that awakened state. So I remember, and I also remembered Madonna. I like her a lot because she's funny. She's like
hmm
sarcastic, funny, and she's like. I was seeing her on Instagram the other day, and they were putting her Madam X patch, for the show, and
hmm
she was like, and her hair guy was telling her, like, how can you do a full show with one eye? And she was like, can't isn't it uncomfortable for you to just see with one eye? And she was like, oh honey, when you've seen the things I've seen, if you'd seen the things I've seen, you would want to watch, you would only like to see with one eye too. And I just loved it. I was like, wow, that's such a great answer.
Yeah,
She's
that's
such a
great.
wise woman, right? And yeah,
Absolutely.
so to me, it's that, like, I think that after you're awakened, you can see everything so clearly. Like, you
Yeah.
see right past people's, when
Mhm.
people come up. I have a lot of people coming up to me all the time, and wanting to discuss an issue that they're having with me, because I always make sense out of it, because I was taught by my sister that when desire, emotions, and logics, and common sense, then you can basically figure everything out. So they called me, and oh, my boyfriend left me, and I'm like, okay, let's analyze his self-esteem, this and this. And to me, it's really clear. And I think that for people who've been in those situations, a lot of things they can just see right through. Or with the problems with the environment, you can just
Mhm.
see right through. Like, I have this thing where I say, interspecies problems to me aren't that important. It's not that they shouldn't be discussed, but we can't be deciding if we're gonna have, what, like, to me, it's first and foremost, it's stupid that people have to be debating
Mhm.
if same-sex marriage can be a thing. Like, why is it a matter of debate for people who might not even be gay? Like,
Right.
why are we they should just, it should be a right there. We're all humans.
Mhm.
We're all humans, from the mammals. We're mammals, humans,
Mhm.
and it doesn't have to matter if I want to marry a girl and he wants to marry a guy, or I want to marry a guy, whatever. It's like everyone has to be with whomever they want. And I think that talk, where we spend time debating if it's possible, or or abortion. Like, why are men having conversations about the women's body, you know? And it's stupid. Like, to me, it's like the first thing when that discussion comes up is like, you know, I'm not a woman, guys. So whatever they say is fine with me, because why am I deciding over that? Like,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
I get it, man.
and
Yeah.
and so I think that, you know, while we waste a lot of time debating those things, it should be, you know, just uh, shouldn't, you know, they shouldn't be an issue. You don't want to have a child, you don't have to have it. You want to marry a guy and you're a guy, or you want to marry a girl and you're a girl, or whatever, just do it.
Hmm.
We waste a lot of time in a discussion of things that as a species don't help us grow.
Hmm.
and and you know, I think that people should be free of doing whatever they want,
Sure.
and everyone, we are all the same.
Hmm.
We're all humans from us. So interspecies problems, to me, defocus us from the fact that, you know, why are we discussing same sex marriage? It's not going to matter if we don't have a planet to live at, you know.
Right. Right. I get that. I feel you. Yeah. Well said, my friend. Well said. Um, Fans, what do you think? Are you enjoying this tonight? I hope so, because I am. We've got to take a little inside look and get to know Ian, like I said, as a person and not just a musician, a producer, and an entertainer. He eats, he breathes, he lives, and he conspiracy theorizes just like everybody else. So that's amazing, man. I'm glad you came on tonight. I think that from A to B to where we're at now, we gave everybody a look at who you are and what you have going. I do want to mention that you did just release recently your holiday song for the holidays. Yes.
Yes.
Would you like to give a little plug on that one?
Oh, well, for the holidays, it's actually fun because, you know, I figure, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, but, you know, everyone wants to be with someone during the holiday season. No one wants to be alone. So by the time Halloween is around, like, everyone is starting to settle, you know, for that one person that you said, nah, I'm never gonna do her, or I'm never gonna do him, and everyone starts settling, like, oh, well, maybe I should try it out. You know, people start settling because they don't want the Christmas time to come and they don't want to be alone.
Right,
So
right. I
my
love
my
it.
my my cousin has this joke. I always talk to her, and she has this joke like, hurry up and find somebody, because by mid-November everyone will be taken.
Right.
You
I
know.
love it. I love
So,
it. That's a good way to look at it.
and so the Christmas song is that. It's a proposal of, you know, hey, you know, we don't have to make this a huge issue. We don't have to be the couple that the world expected, you know, the next sensation. You know, we
Mhm.
need to be together for the holidays and go to the parties and have the fun and get the gifts, you know, and get the kisses and get the passion going. And if we like it, then we can discuss following up in January. And if we don't, then we just break up in January. And I think that if we're more honest and less afraid of just having that moment for ourselves,
Mhm.
then we would be happier, because everyone would have a couple, you know, like, yeah, you're my friend, I like you. And, you know, let's, you know, have our thing going on. We a little fling for the holidays, and we'll be together and we'll attend all these events together. And
Mhm.
then in January, we'll go back to being friends. It doesn't have to be a big issue.
Right.
And so that's like a proposal. So I always say, if people hear the song and they use it as a leap to go and ask somebody to do it, like, hey, hear the song, and and what do you think? You want to do this with me? You want to be a couple just for the holidays? And they say yes. I'm always telling people, write me, because I wrote that song for an ex-girlfriend that I had. And, you know, that's why it says that I never gave her up, you know.
Right.
And and it's just a very simple message, but I like that,
Mhm.
because it's what everybody wants, but nobody dares to say. And I
Right.
couldn't follow through with her. You know, I wrote the song, I released it, and I couldn't use it for the purpose that it was made with her.
Mhm.
So if someone gets to achieve that goal thanks to the song, please write me and let me know. I will be like the happiest.
Absolutely.
And
Oh,
it's
that's
also
amazing.
included in the sorry, it's also
No, you're
included
good.
as a bonus track on the Irreplaceable album, which
Right.
everyone got to check out.
Yeah, everyone, get out there and check out Irreplaceable. Um, and check out his older stuff as well. Amazing.
Thank you.
Follow his growth, and now become a fan now, because if you didn't know Ian before and you still don't know him and you're just learning about him on the show tonight, you are going to hear his name much, much more in the future. I am here and I will write that. You could take that. I'm going to do old Tom Hanks when he did my interview. You could take that to the bank. We're going to be seeing more of this gentleman, and I can't wait. The sky is the limit. Only you can stop you. And what with his package, he's there. The explosion is there. And when it happens, the earth is going to shake and he's going to come down. And remember, guys, get out there.
Wow.
Independent music, right? Is it the IMAs or?
Yeah, the IMAs.
Well,
IMAs.
I'll put that here.
2020 IMAs.
Right. So get on that. Would you like to promote a website or any of your other sites before we get out?
Yeah, they can just, everyone can just go to ianguerinmusic.com, or they can go to my Instagram at I am Ian Guerin. And people got to remember that Guerin is Guerin. And so, or they can just type my name on Google and you'll find everything there. My YouTube channel, my streaming platforms, and people can pick and choose, but I'll see them on Instagram so that we can talk. I love when people write me and we can have a chat. Like I'm not one that says, "Oh, I don't know that." I have people who are up and coming artists, and oh no, I don't talk to people who write me because I'm like, I talk to people who write me, number one, because they're taking the time to talk to me, and I don't consider myself as important for anyone to talk to want to come and talk to me, So when they do, I'm very thankful for that. And number two, they make me who I am. Absolutely. And this always sounds like that Snoop Dogg song, "They made me who I am, the music and the man." But they make me who I am. Like, who am I to be like, "Oh no, I don't want to talk to you." Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I try to be, I'm always one for coherence. So I'm a coherent person, and being coherent means doing, speaking, thinking, and doing all the same things, coherently. So, I love people when to come and talk to me. So do it at my Instagram at I am Ian Guerin, or on Twitter. And for the Facebook people, if they want to go to Facebook is /I am Ian Guerin too. And you'll find a black and white picture of me. If they write me, and I want to say this to the people, to the audience, if you write me and you see an automated message that says like, "Hey, thank you for coming into my page," just wait, I'll reply.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
Because I somehow I put that automated message there sometime, and now I don't know how to take it out. I don't know how to turn it off. So if it comes, I'll read.
I think that's something that came with their new update, because I would never get those. And now when people send me messages, that auto thing's like, "Hey, this is Rich Wheeler with the Big Rich Show, and I will promise to get back to you after 5 p.m. today." And I was like, I don't ever remember writing that, but okay.
Yeah.
But that's good. But yeah, you'll get, and I understand where you're coming from. I don't give a, if it's an email, if it's an instant message, it's a message on my website. I've been stopped at a gas station here where I live, in this 3 towns away, with somebody who was actually on my fan page on Facebook, listened to the show, knew who I was, and they're calling out my name, and I'm pumping gas, and I'm like, "Oh, is this some kind of crackhead?" That's what I'm thinking of her, like, and then but then I started putting it together. I'm like, wait, and he's like, "Big Rich." So he comes over and he grabs a selfie with me, and then we get a selfie. I actually uploaded that to my social media. So, and when I did a public event as well, and we had people drive up from Texas just to meet me in person. I found very humbling, because I'm a nobody. I work a 9 to 5. I do my shows, but I do have a following, and it's growing daily. And I appreciate, my fans are the world to me, because they keep me doing this. I burn both ends of the candle. I'll put a 12-hour day in at work, and then I'll come home and I'll edit for 6 hours, and then I'll come do an interview for 2 hours with somebody, and then I'll get 2 hours of sleep and I'm back to doing it again. And I only do that because I want to make people happy. And I like seeking truth. And I love people like you. So I have the best world, you know?
Yes.
Folks, I'm going to let Ian close it out. And then we're going to call it a sweet and wonderful night. But any last words, my friend?
Well, just thank you for having me. And I had the greatest time. Like, you really took some things out of me that I never thought that I would be saying in an interview. So it was very interesting to have those viewpoints exposed. I loved it. I just had the most amazing time. Thank you for asking me my views on stuff, because I really do believe that when you know, it's more than the music, you know, people attach to the person that you are, or at least that is what I do. Like when I follow Mariah Carey, I just or I think that I understand Mariah, and that's why I like her, you know, and I support her. And I think it's this energetical bond, you know. I do think that it's connected. I don't think that you know, the fans are the people that come to the concert and they're just like, oh, it's cool, the music is cool, you know. I really think that they come thinking that we have a bond, and I really think that that's a reciprocal thing. You know, I love when Mariah said at the Billboard Music Awards, she said, for those who have said that I've saved their lives through their music, I thank you, because at hard times you saved mine. And I think she sees that, and I love that, and I learned from that. And so, well, you know, to me, it's always a learning experience and a growing experience. And you don't know, like my friend Caro, she has this thing where she says that the most important answers in her life always come from strangers in the street that come up to her and tell her, hey, you know what? And she gets the answer. And I think that having this platform and being, you know, in music, I get to meet, the greatest gift is I get to meet a lot of people that I wouldn't normally meet. So that's why I love people to write to me. And, you know, just listen to the album and listen and read the words. If you type in any of the songs followed by the keyword lyrics, you'll get the lyrics. And I'm sure that you've been there, and that's why I made the song. To me, Irreplaceable is my little off the wall.
Absolutely. It's, man, and I'm going to be playing that thing everywhere I go. And I promise you, because I just love it. I absorb it, and I'm at a time right now in my life where I need to hear this. And thank you, as you said, thank you to me. Thank you for coming on. And hopefully, I look to you now. You have a fan, and also you have a friend. If you ever need anything as a friend outside of this, reach out to me. I'm here for you, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That the same goes out to you. Like, really, really, you are such a kind-hearted man, and I had the greatest time on the show. Absolutely. I can't wait to listen back to it.
Oh, it's going to be good. I promise you. So fans, there we go. Tonight, we had a great gentleman with us. I enjoyed every minute with Ian tonight, and I want you guys out there to enjoy this as well. So with that said, as I always do, God bless, stay safe, and have a great night.
Hello, doll. How you been? Life hadn't given us a chance to speak. So right now, I'ma tell you a story, sort of behind the scenes of you and me. The things that happened while you weren't here. Cause it's been a long time since you left, but I never got over it. I always thought we'd have another chapter. I promise not to mess up this time around. Let me pick it up when we left it. I believe it was on my birthday of 2013. Remember that girl I dated, or whatever that was that faded. Her sister was 10 times better than she. 100 days have since gone by, and you since, but not my love. I still miss the way you used to say goodnight, and how everything you said and did had style, and the way you taught me the quality charm. Can't be spending houses cause the restaurants, long as Makes me lonely. I'm looking for your name in every vision from me. I'm tired of seeing I love you, but I'm